What up, world? I'm Uncle Bill. This is the Big Lumpy Couch. I am joined by my friend and co host, Stimpack.
What's up, everybody?
He has an interesting one for us today. He posed a question to me. It was, who has the best fans? Who is the most dedicated fandom? I think you could explain it a little bit better.
For sure. I just love like people watching. Notice that like people like rock merch for things they like, get tattoos. They have like their own special interests that they love talking about. And I noticed that like some fans are more loyal than other fans. I always thought to myself, like, if I could put these fandoms against each other, like if I was booking like a boxing fight card, who would I put up against who strategically to compete as to who has the most loyal fans, who would go to bat for what they love, and that's given their life so much color. I think I've built that card. And yeah, we're here to debate who has the most loyal fan base to what they love.
All right, let's bring it up.
First up,
Bah, 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 bah.
yeah, I thought that we would come out of the gate really strong here and give you an Ali Tyson kind of fight. Just put the Rolling Stones up against the Beatles.
Is that Ali versus Tyson? Did that fight ever happen?
No, that's the whole lore of it, Bill, is that like they were on top of the world in their weight class and their time period, but they're two different time periods where uh, Tyson was kicking ass when Ali was on his way out or retired. But they always say like, oh, Tyson is Ali. So whenever we talk about two goats that would go at it, we always say, oh, it's an Ali Tyson. And I think that's, well, at least for music people, it's always, are you a Beatles guy or a Stones guy? So I thought I would put this right at the top. And I know you're a Beatles guy. So I want to hear your take on this.
I am very biased because instantly I want to say, without a question, no question in my mind, the Beatles win this one. But I automatically want to say it's just because they're the better band, and I don't really know because I don't think I've ever met somebody who's like, who's the greatest band ever? The Stones. But myself
That's
included,
true.
a couple of people have said that the best band ever is the Beatles.
Yeah, yeah. There's obviously no debating that. So like, and yeah, like I'm a little biased too because like I'm a Stones guy. But you're right though. Like I can't confidently say that the Stones are the best band in the world, whereas there really isn't a lot to compare like to have any band to have that title of like, okay, what do you think about, okay, who's the best musical group? Not best selling, just best or greatest. The GOAT, greatest of all time musical act. The first name you're going to bring up is probably the Beatles. And yeah, when it comes,
Or a classical composer.
yeah, yeah. But when it comes to the fandom, yeah, like I know that both fandoms will definitely go to bat for both of these bands, but it's just what kind of passion are we talking about here? If you're just a fan of music, there's a good chance if you whittle it down and go right to the root of, okay, well, who got you into music? It's probably the Beatles. I've picked a lot of music nerds' brains. If you follow that rabbit hole all the way down, it's usually the Beatles or whatever was playing in their childhood home. Whatever their parents listened to is usually where a lot of their musical taste comes from. But a lot of the time it's the Beatles. It's like, hey, you like music? You like the Beatles. Oh, you ever heard of the Beatles, right? But unpopular opinion, and I will go on record and say this because I'll die on this hill. I obviously appreciate what they've done for music. Lennon and McCartney are best songwriters of all time. Their songs are pretty catchy, but I have to pick the Stones on this one. Is the Stones sound like they're having more fun. I'm a groove guy. I love beat. I love rhythm. I love Charlie Watts' drumming. I just think that the Stones have a little bit more groove. I know that you've got a hot take on Ringo Starr's accuracy as a drummer and that he doesn't get his flowers. I'll let you speak on that. But it sounds like the Beatles are at work. Okay, we're going to clock into my job as a musician, write these songs, record these songs, precision, accuracy, everything is correct. Whereas the Stones, I feel like they sound like they're just in a garage having fun. And that resonates with me. But in this case, I say the Beatles move on. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. The Beatles move on because I was just thinking when we think fandom, that crazed fan, the pioneers of that whole fandom is Elvis and then later the Beatles. Like girls were pulling their pants off, throwing them at these guys. And that was never seen up until they came along. I say the Beatles. Also, Ringo Starr was the best drummer ever. He's still to this day accused of using click tracks. Argument done.
Done deal. The Beatles move. Okay. No particular order. I'm just going for it. Next up, I'd say we have another Ali Tyson type situation where I've been saying this for a while because of how popular Pokemon's getting. Where my newsfeed, I don't know if yeah, okay, I'll say it. Like I am a Pokemon fan, but I'm not like a card collector. But I watched the shows. I did have cards at one point that was pretty magical. I love the creativity of all the characters in that world. And I've gone back and watched some of the movies, and when the movies were coming out, it was really exciting, and it just, I don't know, connected all these kids together, and it's beautiful. And I understand why there's such a big like resurgence of Pokemon, and like younger, I see younger kids, 5-year-old kids running around with Pikachu shirt. I'd say that's pretty cool and pretty exciting. But I've been saying this for a while, and I'm glad we can talk about it now. But I would put Pokemon fandom and loyalty up against Star Wars fans. I'd say that they're at that level. I could be wrong, and we can talk about it. We can debate it. Anybody in the comments can talk about it. But I'd say that Pokemon fans are just as loyal as Star Wars fans.
I think that you've basically given us Superman versus Godzilla, like the East versus Western society, as well as maybe a generational thing. All of your Star Wars fans, please, Star Wars fans around the world, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell us where you're from. But correct me if I'm wrong. Star Wars fans come from North America, Canada, United States. Fans of Pokemon, millennials like you and I who grew up watching the show in North America, but as well as there's that giant fandom of people who live in Japan. Like, and I just think there's more of them,
Not
right?
necessarily who has the most
Like more,
fans. I'm saying who's got the Pokemon sleeves, who's gonna die on the Pokemon hill, who's gonna fight you if you talk shit about Pokemon. But that's what I mean is like I think both of these fandoms have just as much like of love and power for their thing. And you're right though, we can't
I
count
think
out that yeah, a lot of Star Wars fans are from North America, and then we can't count out the type of fans from Japan either. So like I'm trying to lump them all together and be like, okay, well, we have to try and gauge the loyalty on the fandom as a whole here.
I think that Star Wars fans are more willing to lean on their sword. They are willing to die for those movies, especially when you're an original trilogy fan. Like, I think Pokemon fans are like, "Oh, you don't like Pokemon? I do." Do do do. Where like Star Wars fans, you're like, "What do you mean you don't like Star Wars? You just haven't watched it right. Sit down." Like, a Pokemon fan is never going to strap you to a chair and force you to watch Pokemon. A Star Wars fan totally will.
That's I gotta agree with you because something happens to a Star Wars fan's brain and nervous system when you tell them that either you don't like Star Wars or you don't get Star Wars. Shifts. Something's. What do you mean? You're so right. Something clicks in their brain. Yeah, I'm with it. I'd say Star Wars moves on. What do you think?
Just to drive your point home, if you tell a diehard Pokemon fan, you know what, Indigo League's not that great. I like this different version. That Pokemon fan would totally see your point. But God forbid if you ever told a Star Wars fan that anything was better than the original trilogy.
Yep, yep. You'd basically be excommunicated from that circle or that person for sure. Okay, cool. Let's keep it moving. Yeah. So Star Wars has more loyal fans than Pokemon. This is another huge one. Okay. I'm getting all the big ones out of the way first. We're talking Taylor Swift fans versus K-pop fans. I had to pick strategically here. I'm like, who in this world can go up against the Swifties? And it's K-pop fans. I think that there's just such a level of dedication and loyalty, and I can't even think of the words that can describe them. But we can blanket the whole thing and just say that they're some loyal, diehard fucking fans out there. But then you look at like as I was talking to my sister about this very bracket, and she was like, she's more into the K-pop stuff than I am, and she's saying like, oh no, no, you don't get it. Like there's K-pop fans that like are genuinely convinced that these people are like their parents from other dimensions and stuff like that. And like a lot of these K-pop stars are like put into boot camps where they're like trained and exercised and built up to be these superstars and to drive these vehicles and stuff like that. And they're fucking relentless. And yeah, the fandom is really die hard. But to vote early here, I don't know, man. I'd have to give it to the Swifties. I think that Yeah, I'd have to give it to him.
Before I answer this, have you, aside from your sister, have you met a diehard K-pop fan?
I've met diehard BTS fans. Well, to be honest, that's really a lot of my general knowledge of K-pop is from BTS. I've met people that like, yeah, they go absolutely apeshit for BTS, but K-pop as a whole, I haven't. But from the research that I've done and I don't know, just what my sister tells me, I believe it.
Yeah, because like I think, and this is kind of funny again, but I think it breaks down to more like sports fans, right? Like America will always tell you that football fans are the most diehard fans, but then you look across the water or even south, like to Mexico, at soccer fans, and then you're like, crap, nope. We are not willing to die for this stuff. And I think that's sort of where, like, I almost wanted to automatically say Swifties because, I live in Canada, but I've actually met a couple of like huge K-pop fans. We don't see it, so we don't really like have a way of gauging it. But yeah, actually, I'm gonna give it to the K-popers. I think they're the European soccer fans, and we just don't watch European soccer.
That's fair.
Okay, well, I gave it to K-pop. You gave it to Swifties. What's your final point on Swifties? Like, what's the craziest thing you've seen a Swiftie do?
Well, I wear a diaper to the concert because the tickets were so expensive and they don't want to miss a single moment. That checks out. I get it. Like if you spend $2,500 or something on a concert, like you think about how long you take that piss. You think about how much money every just vibe out in the diaper, loaded diaper. I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Like you said, like people believe that they're their parents. K-pop moves on.
Okay, this next one's gonna be quick because I know that you're not a big anime person, but yeah, Naruto fans versus One Piece fans.
Very specific on the animes that I watch, and these are two I don't watch, except that I watched the Netflix One Piece.
Right. Okay. So I would say that the similar point that you made for the Pokemon fans versus the Star Wars fans were like if a Naruto fan starts talking about what they like and they start talking about Naruto and you tell them, "Oh, I'm not a Naruto person." They're like, "Okay." And then if you start talking shit about One Piece cuz the most common smoke that they get is that it's too long. There's a lot of episodes. My attention span just can't handle that. I've waited for this show to like grab me and it hasn't. Like I've gotten a few episodes in, it's not happening. Magic's not there. I think it's a cool looking series from what I've watched. I wouldn't confidently say that I'm part of this camp and I'm part of this fandom. But from the people that are, where they've got the stickers all over their cars, they've got the tattoos, the lore, I don't know if you've seen, but I don't know where this was. I can't say, but I've seen on the news whenever there's like riots or protests or anti-authoritarian, I've seen One Piece flags being flagged up there. And that's got to mean something. Going back to your like Star Wars and Pokemon point, I would say that the One Piece fans are a bit more loyal because they'll actually get irritated if you start shit talking their series. Whereas I don't think Naruto fans really care that much.
The first time I saw somebody who was willing to like argue over a show is good was a Naruto fan. It was somebody that I met in like middle school. She was cosplaying to school, and some guy was like, "I don't understand why you watch that." And she had like a mental breakdown. And I don't think I've actually met a One Piece fan that was willing to argue with me about it. So I don't think I'm qualified to talk about this.
Okay. I'll take the wheel and say that One Piece has a more loyal fan base because I've actually had showdowns with One Piece fans that I just wasn't equipped for because I'm not ready to argue about if it's about music, bring it on. But I like anime and I like TV and I like shows, but I'm not equipped or ready to really debate it. So if you trust my input, I'd say that One Piece moves on. Okay. All right, next up, and there is some overlap here, and there is a pipeline between these two, but we're talking Zelda fans versus Ghibli fans.
We both grew up on playing Nintendo and watching Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, Ghibli or Ghibli?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ghibli.
I thought it was Ghibli, but my vote is Zelda fans. I think the Zelda fans are a lot more loyal than Ghibli fans. I just think the just by nature with how soft and whimsical and magical the Ghibli worlds are, it doesn't really breed very not aggressive. Sure, I'll use the word aggressive. Aggressive fans, where if you just say, "Oh, hey, Studio Ghibli never really did it for me. It's not that great. I think they'd be like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go watch Totoro. Like, I'm cool with that. Whereas Zelda fans, if you told somebody that Ocarina of Time sucks or something, then I think that would be game on. I think they'd see red and come at you. And a factor for fandom loyalty is how many tattoos I've seen of whatever brand we're talking about. I've seen an equal amount. Like I've seen lots of Totoros, I've seen lots of like Kiki brooms and turnip head tattoos and stuff like that. And a lot of those are pretty cool, but they're Totoro tattoo on their leg or something. But I've seen like multiple full blown sleeves, back pieces, leg pieces dedicated to their video game, and like lots of cosplays, lots of just oh man, I just think the Zelda fan is they're huge. The fandom is just massive. I'd say my vote is for Zelda.
Both fans are going to just dismiss you. Like you say you don't like Zelda or if you don't like Studio Ghibli, they're just going to be like, okay, well, you're a loser. I'm going to go watch her play my favorite thing now. I don't know. I want to say, and I'm basing this basically off the girls of those fandoms, because I'm thinking back to the girls that I've dated and that have been, oh, I'm a huge Zelda fan. And I've been like, well, I'm not really a huge gamer at all, but I mean, Zelda's cool. And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. But I've seen people tell girls that like Studio Ghibli isn't their thing, and they're like, what do you mean? I think, again, with the whole Star Wars, I think Studio Ghibli fans are more willing to tie you to a chair and force feed you that content. Like, I think a Zelda fan is just going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go play Zelda, goodbye. But I think Ghibli would give you more of a fight. They'd be like, but have you seen this one? Spirited Away. Anytime someone's like, I don't like Studio Ghibli, my first question is, but have you seen Spirited Away?
Like, come on. There's not many movies where anytime you pause the movie, you could hang that in your house. Like you could hang the still frame somewhere in your house and it'll be a piece of art.
I think the Miyazaki fans got it.
All right, okay, fuck. Maybe I'm not so firm.
We should do Adventure Time.
Okay, Ghibli moves on. So sports fans versus politics. I want to preface this by saying not casual sports fans or casual voters here. I'm saying people that wear their politics on their sleeve and people that wear their sports team on their sleeves. People that would go to a grocery store with the colors of their team on both the political side and the sports side.
I think these are the same people. I think that, and that's why they bring that level of passion to it. Because we'll give baseball for an example, right? Like, well, are you a Yankees fan or are you a Dodgers fan?
Let me hijack this for a second because I think a lot of these we're kind of gauging it off of basically who's gonna give you shit if you start shit talking their team, their thing or whatever. But I'll use we should use this to help gauge these two because I'll give you an example. I don't know for people who are listening, like we're Canadians. When me and my family visit the States, because like my sister lives in the US, and sometimes when we go over there, we kind of notice a couple shifts with like how Americans live versus Canadians. Like my parents go on a lot of cruises and a lot of all inclusives. They mingle and talk to a lot of Americans, and they've brought up a lot that strangers will meet each other and really chopping it up for like 20-30 minutes and high-fiving and really vibing with each other. And then the second they figure out like, oh, you voted left or you voted right, they go, okay, we're done here. We're done. Whoop, split. I think the same can go for the sports side too. If you're a Canucks fan and you figure out that your buddy is a Bruins fan or a Chicago fan, is that going to affect your relationship? Some people can shake it off, some people can't.
And how badly do you cheer for the other side? And again, we're Canadians, so I'll just bring the best one that comes to my mind is like if you're a Leafs fan, you don't care if your buddy is an Ottawa fan or a Canucks fan or a Flames fan. God forbid that you're friends with a Canadians fan. Those two have actually shot at each other.
Yeah, then it's on.
And same with Canadian politics.
That's true.
The blue and the red, man. People are willing to shoot over it. The blue and the red.
That's what I mean. That's why this bracket's so interesting because you're right. Well, obviously, there's some overlap here, and a lot of diehard sports fans, that extremism obviously kind of leaks into their political views too. Yeah, you're right. If you're a far right person and you figure out someone's a far left person by design, you're gonna duke it out and and debate over that, because that's a big factor of voting. Is you have your views and you want to talk about what's going on, right? And then same thing with sports. Like if you cheer for the rival team, especially in like soccer, I worked with this guy from the UK that said, yeah, you can't even wear certain colors around certain neighborhoods. God forbid, if you wear a jersey from the opposing team, yeah, wearing a Manchester United jersey in the wrong part of England, like you could start like a fucking turf war basically. But I guess both are really extreme. I think there's more sports fans, like big time sports fans, than there are heavy political people. Again, it's not about numbers; it's about loyalty.
Team, all
For some reason,
politics.
and I can't explain why, I
Because
want to vote for sports.
we're just talking sports and just talking politics. Maybe we gotta like narrow it down to like North American sports and politics. When you think about both overseas, now you're bringing other things into the
Yeah,
conversation.
true.
Because look at what's going on in Venezuela.
I guess that's part of the fun of these talks, is that we can only come from the bias of being a goofy Canadian. We're not totally patched into the sports world or the political world, depending on how tapped in you are. I guess that's part of the fun with these talks, is that just over here, just on our mooses in our snowbanks, and just giving her, just drinking beer. We got chainsaws. We operate them, eh? Fucking A, right? We do, bud. We cut our weight in firewood.
I'm gonna give it to sports fans because we're really talking about the same people.
Okay, we're moving. Yeah. Oh, that's right. All right, man. Beer fans versus wine fans.
I think wine is a beer fan is never gonna be like, man, you just suck, and that's why you don't like my beer. That's not a beer fan. But a wine fan, if you tell a wine fan that you don't like wine, they're just like, and this conversation's over because obviously you are uncultured. Yeah, there's like a level of
You uncultured swine.
looking down on people from a high point when it comes to wine.
Yeah, I get it. My parents are wine people. And so for the longest time, whenever you're at a store, when you want to buy gifts, if you go to Winners, Michael's, Chapters, or Walmart, and you see something with a wine pun on it, you see a fridge magnet that says, "It's wine o'clock," or "Oh, this wine is making me awesome," or "Did somebody say wine?" or some shit. Wine people, right? We've gotten my parents so much wine stuff, wine glasses, wine charms. I built them a fucking wine rack in wood shop when I was in high school that they actually cherish a lot. And keep it full. We've got them so much wine stuff that they just requested no more wine puns, no more wine stuff. I don't know. They've got such nice stuff. What the fuck else do we get you? And I started looking around, noticing more wine merch, wine puns, lots of wine people talking about wine. Oh, if you swish it this way and you smell it this way, and oh, the bouquet and the legs, all this etiquette to drinking booze.
I agree with you,
Whereas a beer
except
fan is
in
just
one
click.
rare case.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And I'll pose this question on you. This is beer's like last shot at redemption. Who wins, wine aficionado or the IPA guy? Because he's bringing that same intensity. You gotta swish it around, you gotta smell it, you gotta let it air out and squeeze a little bit of orange juice in it.
Okay, but then you got to consider that a lot of the beer fandom are just casual beer drinkers, and the IPA fan is like a small margin of that. Wine fans, they're all the IPA guy. Whereas, the IPA guy shows up to the potluck. I brought craft beers for everybody. And the weird part is about IPAs is they always have the coolest names and the coolest cans.
Electric
Look 'em-
unicorn.
Where is it? Oh, IPA, fucking sour this, sour that. Oh, fuck, man. It tastes like you ate a fucking orange with the peels on it and licked a fucking tree. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's so great. It sounds like a challenge more than anything. I can't remember if it was you or our friend, but
Yes, I am an IPA guy, but I'm also not that IPA guy. And my favorite beers are called White Bronco and Electric Unicorn
you promise?
and a Glitter Bomb.
Electric Unicorn, I actually don't mind.
Phillips, sponsor us, Phillips.
Phillips makes good beer, and they're
We
pretty
love
regular
you.
in Vic. But I'd say wine people move on. Yeah, let's run it. Yeah, Phillips is where it's at. Yeah, wine moves on. Oh, I love this one.
I'm gonna try not to get canceled on this one.
The Juggalos are going up against the Tool fans. Yeah, be careful. Okay, hang on. I want to clear the air, and I want to use your metaphor, because for the longest time, I use the Harry Potter analogy when trying to explain the Juggalo fandom. I'm not a Juggalo myself. Might be neighbors to Juggalos, and we can like borrow sugar from each other. Wouldn't call myself a Juggalo. I like some of ICP stuff. Love the whole Juggalo culture, just letting it all hang out, not judging people, which is great. When the summer comes out, I'll play like Homies by ICP. I know two non-ironic Juggalos that have tattoos and that's their lifestyle. They're awesome people. And I use this metaphor when trying to explain this culture to people who all these clowns on Instagram, and I'd explain it to them. Use this Harry Potter analogy where, okay, so Juggalos are like the Hufflepuff. Gryffindors, I'll take the brave, all the good guys. Slytherin's like, okay, I'm gonna take the sneaky, I'll take the bad guys. Claws, okay, we'll take the book guys, any guys. And Hufflepuff says, I'll take the rest. Don't fit anywhere. I'm a Hufflepuff. That's where I'd be. But you're like, no. Juggalos are the people that either got expelled from Hogwarts or they didn't even make it in.
Are you ready? Okay, are you ready? Because I'm gonna destroy this argument right here.
Now you unpack that.
When you're in jail, are you still a Tool fan?
Yes.
Because when you're in jail, you're still a Juggalo. No hate. No hate.
Yeah. And on the other side of that coin, the Tool fans are pretty cool people. I work at a music store. Whenever I see somebody come in the store wearing a Tool shirt, I already got a decent feeling of like who that person is. And it's usually right. And they've been cool people. What I don't like, what I really don't like, I talk music with a lot of people. I don't like people trying to tell you how smart they are by telling you they're a Tool fan. Dude, I listen to like lots of crazy music and lots of smart music. Like I'm a Tool fan. Well, no, that shouldn't be your resume. Well, I'm a Tool fan. That makes me smart. I don't know. I know a lot of dumb Tool fans, but like they try and use their fandom as like their intelligence resume. Come on, dude. I'm a Tool fan. Fuck's sakes.
And
Still
I've
be
also
dumb
met
and be
some
a Tool
pretty
fan.
dumb Tool fans. But no,
I like Tool.
our job is to who has the more intense fans. No, I'm giving it to ICP. Juggalos win because, like I said, they're all gang level loyal.
Yeah. Yep. Juggalos win.
I think this is gonna be our last one.
Okay. Disney versus anime fans. This is a good one, a really good one. We're talking two extremes here. And I'm still kind of on the fence with this. When the term Disney adult gets thrown around, I'm still not sure if that's a slur or not. People, I've met self-proclaimed weebs and self-proclaimed Disney adults where they're just like, hey, I'm a Disney adult, get over it. Or like, I'm a total weeb, okay? I'm covered in anime tattoos kind of thing. But not trying to offend anybody, but man, there's definitely extremes on both of these sides where they can wrap their entire personality around Disney or anime, and rightfully so. They're both really great franchises, but I'm gonna have to give it to the anime fans. I think the anime fans are more
Disney
loyal than Disney
fans
fans.
will wrap their whole personality in like a one movie, one character. Girl will become Elsa. But I don't think anybody embodies that like becoming a character better than anime fans. They
Hang on. I think this goes both ways. A lot of diehard Disney fans, myself included, I love Disney movies. For the longest time, I feel a lot of my, what's the word? Not midlife crisis, but I honestly felt like a bit of psychosis during my early 20s where me and my sister grew up on Disney movies. We have this picture painted of how life's supposed to go. Of, well, you have like your training you're born, you have your upbringing, you have your training montage, you meet your partner, you find your fucking purpose in life, you go for it, and the underdog wins. And there's all these people break out into song, and there's this beautiful music, and there's this happy ending, and then the credits roll, and it's all good. But one piece at a time, we have to wrap our head around, oh, hey, that's not how this world works. Like us coming from growing up in like small hockey towns and being raised Catholic for most of our upbringing. And then you add Disney movies into that equation. We've got this really distorted, toxically positive view of how our lives are going to go. I don't know if you're dealt a good hand and you play it strategically, your life could play out like a Disney movie. But I don't know, that's just not the case for most people, and it wasn't the case for me. But I hit this psychosis moment. Fuck, life's not like the movies that I watched. I'm gonna have to come to grips with that. When you see a lot of Disney fans roaming around and they're trying to make their lives like a Disney movie, I'd say it's a pretty good template to follow, but I'd say they're just as
I
animated
hear
as
you.
the
I hear
anime
you.
fans.
But I'm going back to that nobody embodies a character better than anime fans. Like you were saying, like Disney fans, like they want their life to be a Disney movie, right? So they're trying their hardest to make their life like a Disney movie. Where anime fans are, no, I'm going to be this character. They're bringing that main character energy all the way through.
Yeah, we think if someone's got the main character energies, there's definitely some hardcore anime fandom behind that. They're like they saw their favorite protagonist, and yep, that's my guy. That's who I want to be, and they run with it, or that's who I am.
Ah, fuck yeah. Like Attack on
Rightfully
Titans,
so. There's some pretty kick-ass anime out there where I'm just like, oh yeah,
Full
I
Metal
want to be that fucking
Alchemist,
cool.
Death Note will always have a special place in my heart. That's what. Oh, so this is what anime is. Full Metal Alchemist. If you've never seen an anime, watch Full Metal Alchemist.
This is our last bracket, so I won't rant too much. But do you have a favorite
Yes,
anime?
there's
Does
animes.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh count as an
I
anime
do have
because
a
of how
favorite
accessible
anime.
they were?
It's Death Note. But if
Yeah,
anybody came to me, hey, I need you to recommend a good anime, I'm
nice.
going to Full Metal Alchemist.
Nice. I gotta watch that. I've heard nothing but good things about Full Metal Alchemist, but I can only speak on behalf of like small town Canadians, right? But I feel like the original three were Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dragon Ball. Like, because those were on YTV, those were on accessible kids television, and they were on during the day. Whereas a lot of the better animes were like, I think it was like Teletoon at night or something. I feel like a lot of the better, more extreme, more gory, more relatable animes, definitely the more edgy ones, were kind of on, I don't know, like o'clock at night on Teletoon at night. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh was advertised, ads for Yu-Gi-Oh toys, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff were on at o'clock. But yeah, they were so accessible. And then when people are talking about anime and I want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, some people are just like, oh, those don't count. Like, why? Because they
Yeah.
were
That's just
accessible.
gatekeeping, and I'm not there for it.
You got to go crate digging for anime for it to count. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So
Anime
what do you think?
fans
Anime fans
definitely
move
win
on
this
and
one.
we'll
And
resume this
if you
later.
did like this as a concept, everybody, please let us know, like, comment, and
All right.
we'll definitely keep pitting people's fandoms against each other until we can belt somebody.
I don't want this to look like we're picking on anybody, and I don't. And if we are, I'm sorry. I don't mean to poke. Like if you, I want to. Yeah. Let me preface this. If you found something that brings you joy in this dark black and white world, run with it. Fill your cup. Tattoo yourself. Fucking have a Star Wars wedding. That's great. And I just like the fact that it's loyalty. That's all I really want to gauge. Is just like because I'm attracted to passion in every way, shape, or form. When people really, really care about anything, you could be ape shit for fucking Captain Crunch, and I would want to know about it. I want to be like, hey, what is it? What is it about this brand that gets you so excited, that gets you so worked up? And it's all with different fandoms come different levels of passion and different kinds of passion, different colors, different I don't know, different everything. And it's like whenever I unpack somebody's special interest and I say, hey, like your special interest is, this, that, or the third, or whatever we're talk about it. Like, I want to hear it. I want to hear your passion because what makes other people feel alive, that makes me feel alive. And I want to share that. And then like this whole bracket was just about like, okay, well, let's compare different levels of passion and different levels of loyalty. And then we can talk about it. But I definitely don't want to bully
No,
anybody.
same.
That's
And
not
as always,
because
it's
I hate
very elegantly
bullies
put,
and picking up.
Brad. And that is where we're going to leave it for this week. But please remember to tune in next week where we'll have another fresh episode for you. And until next time, have a good week, world.
Go get them.